If you've been waiting for a sign to tell you not to use more than one single campaign in your Facebook ad account, this is it. I'm here to tell you why you should not run more than one campaign per ad account. Now, this might sound very controversial for some media buyers out there, but I've been saying on the channel for a while how I strongly believe that media buying is hurting your Facebook ad account more than anything in 2025 and going into 2026. And I'm about to break down the why. Now, if you're new to the channel, you know who I am. My name is Justin Lalonde, and we spend profitably over $20 million USD on Meta ads alone every single 12-month period on the behalf of the clients that we work with at the agency. And so let's get straight into today's video. Now, this is going to be a mix between a talking head / like on-screen video, because a lot of that is going to be theory, but I'll kind of show you how this applies. Now, literally, if I show you here my ad accounts, you're already going to be like, oh, well, Justin, you have like 4 campaigns running. They're all different objectives, okay? Just so you know, I could have like changed the title and the hook of this video and said, well, no more than one campaign per objective, okay? Here's what I mean. I hate seeing an ad account that has a testing campaign, a scaling campaign, a prospecting campaign, a retargeting campaign, and they're all about the same offer and product. So you open the account and then you end up seeing, say, 4 to 5 campaigns for the same exact t-shirt collection, for the same exact hoodie, it's like, it does not make sense. And the reason why that is because I do not focus on anything else than consumer psychology and ad creatives to power my account. Okay, I've said it. Now, what does that mean? This is what we're gonna spend the next 5 to 10 minutes to unpack, if you want, for you guys, okay? So like in this case, okay, this is like literally my own business's ad account that I'm showing you right here. I have 1 campaign per objective. This one, and I'll take this is like one of my primary campaigns where I run ads to book sales calls for our agency. Now, I do not have a retargeting campaign here. I do not have a testing campaign and a scaling campaign and a whatever. All I have, and I'm just gonna, I guess, go to agency ads column right here, is I have 1 ad set per ad creative that I'm running, and that's it. I have some creatives that are more aware and some that are less aware. My less aware creatives are more how come, why, that, top 3 facts, top whatever. They're more top of funnel type of ads. Now, my bottom of funnel creatives, they're much more like book a call now. You might have seen me before on your feed. Let's talk, let's run your ads, let's X, Y, and Z, right? Much more action focused. And so the thing is, those coexist in the same campaign, because I know that with Meta's Andromeda update, I know that with Meta's 4-part distribution system, which is Meta Gem, Meta Lattice, Meta Andromeda, and their sequence learning system, they know all the ads that I'm uploading and everything about those ads. What is the messaging? What is the consumer behavior on those like creatives and like that I'm trying to elicit from someone? They know exactly sequence learning, which is a very important part. There's a whole video that I have on the channel to address that. I posted that, I would like to say maybe a week or two, a month or 2 ago is what I should have said right here. It's Meta Lattice, just both Facebook ads. Check this out, okay? This is literally talking about the 4-part update system that came out. Everybody talks about Andromeda, nobody talks about the 4-part system. So check this one out, okay, on the channel right here. But getting back on topic, what this means is that like Meta, when I give it an ad creative, it knows who's on the ad, what I'm talking about, what is the messaging, it knows what awareness level this is, it knows exactly who to show this ad to. And now you're like, oh, well, how come does Meta know all those things? Let's logically look into, say, a most aware ad, okay? If I'm like, hey, you might have seen my face before on your feed. I'm Justin Lalonde, and right now we have 5 new spots that just opened up for the agency. Please click the link below and book in a call right now. Naturally, Meta won't show this to someone who's random. What are they gonna do? First of all, they're not going to click. Second of all, they're not going to book in a call. Third, they're probably going to comment some dumb thing like, oh, well, who's this guy, right? Why is he on my feed? They're not going to show them this ad. They will have every signal on the platform to show this to someone who already knows me, because this being a video ad, they can extract the transcript, analyze it, and know exactly who to show this ad to based on the messaging. But if on the flip side, I'm like, hey, you've been trying to scale your Facebook ads for months and it just, nothing has worked, okay? You've tried agencies, you've tried different softwares, you've installed TripleWire, this and that, and nothing's worked. Well, that's because you haven't tried my fundamental analysis process and blah, blah, blah. I go into what fundamental analysis would be, okay? So having said that, this would be what? A solution-aware ad. What are the behaviors that someone who sees a solution-aware ad would see or would like go through online. Like Meta would see their browsing history. This person has probably checked a gazillion YouTube videos on how to improve their Facebook ads. They've probably already went on other websites like TripleWell or like HighROAS or like Northbeam or like anything out there. And so having said that, the behaviors that the user takes, again, online will dictate what type of awareness level and messaging that someone will get an ad on their feed, okay? It's not that Meta understands what awareness levels are. It's that if you as a user understand what awareness levels are and you write your script to somebody who's of a certain awareness level, Meta understands the behaviors this user took online and therefore logically what type of script and wording should get shown to this person. That makes sense, okay? So continuing along that, I'm like, you don't need more than one campaign to literally target every single different stages of your funnel. Top, bottom, they all feed each other in the same campaign. There's no reason to have a top of funnel, bottom of funnel, and middle of funnel campaign. It does not matter. Now, the second thing is when I hear somebody say, well, you need a testing and a scaling campaign. Why? Why do you need that? Because let's just talk about two different things here. First thing is I often hear that when somebody uses a CBO campaign, and I mostly use CBO campaigns. So said person will say something along the lines of like, well, if you use a CBO campaign, what ends up happening is that all your budget gets like skewed and allocated more towards your winners. So your new testing, like the ads that you're trying to test, you're not getting enough ad spend allocated to them. Well, if that's your concern, use a CBO campaign. And as I've shown in a recent video, what you can literally do is like, just go at the ad set level on a CBO campaign. You scroll down, you go to ad set spending limits, set a minimum spend, use dollar value, and put a daily minimum, which here you're certain that you're testing ad sets, right? Which is just going to be another word for the new creatives that you launch inside of a new ad set in this campaign. Just put a daily minimum spend. And there you go. You know that Meta will logically still spend most of its money on your top performing ad sets that have been live on this campaign for a while. And you will assure that you have at least a certain floor of ad spend on your new tests. Bingo. Now you do both testing and scaling in the same campaign. You don't need more than one campaign to do this. And so having said that, those are the two reasons why I often hear people saying, well, you need a testing, scaling, and a prospecting campaign, or you need a top off buff campaign. It's like, well, neither, because top off buff, forget it. Your creatives are doing that targeting for you. Meta's smart enough through user behavior to find out which people to show your ads to. Meta is going to favor, spending on winners. Well, yeah, so just put a new ad set here and put a daily minimum spend on any new creators that you launch, and that's it. You'll at least get a floor of spend, and Meta's still gonna favor your high-performing assets. So now that we've debunked those two things, I kind of want to talk about the antithesis of like the one campaign setup. Like the reason why a lot of people talk about this one campaign setup is genuinely because, and I'll play like devil's advocate for the rest of this video, there's like two schools of thoughts. There's econometricians and there's like consumer psychologists in this space. I fall more in the latter camp, okay? And I honestly I'd like to sit here and say, well, it's peace and love. Like everybody can believe what they want. I genuinely believe that consumer psychology is a better long-term camp for anyone watching this video. And I'll try to convince you why. If you don't end up being convinced by the end of the video, totally fine. You just let me know in the comments why. And I'm happy to have a healthy debate with you. So to continue on right here, there is the econometricians, which like what they're going to do is, are they going to focus a little bit on like ad creatives? Yeah, ad creatives is part of their workflow. They're probably going to have a creative strategist they're going to work with, or themselves are going to spend some time doing creative research and creative strategy and whatnot. But like genuinely, when you look into the amount of time they spend on an ad account, it's much more media buying focused. So like this is the type of person who still today in 2025 going into 2026 comes into an account and will play with like, okay, I'm going to put the right daily minimum spend, the right daily maximum spend on this campaign. No, I'm going to use a percentage value to allocate only a certain percentage of my campaign. I'm going to test dynamic creative versus non-dynamic creative. I'm going to test ABO versus CBO, bid cap versus cost cap, target cost per result. I'm going to try a 1-day click attribution window instead of a 7-day click. I'm going to try to scale horizontally by duplicating my campaign many times, or I'm going to try, to scale vertically and serve scale throughout the day. Like there is still people doing that. And those are usually the people that recommend you have 2, 3, 4, 5 campaigns for a same product line and offer on Meta. Now, am I saying that what they're doing doesn't work? No, I know it works because I've seen it on accounts. I will give them that. It works. But then my question, my point, and my argument in this video is at what cost, right? You spend a disproportionate amount of time trying to fix and like force the ad account and the algorithm to hopefully give you what you want, rather than leaning into the one thing that you know will give you what you want, which is creatives. Because prior to Meta, it was what, right? It was like newspapers, it was TV ads, it was billboards. The creative is the only thing that always mattered. It's literally the only thing that always mattered, okay? Media buying never once mattered as much as creative, ever, in any mediums in history. It was always a creative thing. You could have the worst billboard placement, and if you had the right ad on there, you'd still be able to somehow get some conversions through it. Now, nowadays, you don't have to wonder, like, am I gonna have the right billboard? Am I gonna have the right placement? You're using the world as a stage. Meta has a significant portion of the world population as users. You don't even have to ask yourself the question, is Meta showing my ads to the right person? Am I on the right platform? You are. Everybody uses Meta. Everybody uses Facebook and Instagram. So you for sure are on the right place. So all you got to focus on is creatives, because the reality is that I've always seen those accounts struggle to scale. Here's what I mean. Every account, no exception, every account that I come across in 2025, which was built off of a media buying heavy structure, which is very like, guys, like, we don't let our ads spend more than like 2 times our cost per click targets. And like, once it's spent out within the first 3 hours, we're gonna kill it and launch a new creative. And like, anybody I hear talking to me about some media buying bullshit has a hard time scaling, because this becomes so work heavy and intensive at scale that it's really hard to maintain. Like, you'll pull your hair out trying to maintain this heavy of a media buying structure. Whereas anybody I've seen who's built the business off of creatives, off of what their customers actually want, off of very sound offers, has had a much easier time scaling. Scaling is just about, I'm using a CBO, I'm adding more ad sets as I test new ads. That's it. If they work, they work. If they don't work, I just kill them. That's it, move on. I just focus on creatives, and that's the only thing that matters. So it's like, that's part one of my argument. Part two is the commoditization that is currently happening. With the 4-part update, and I implore you, if you haven't yet watched this video on my channel, this is a video that I posted about a month ago called Meta Lattice just broke Facebook ads. Everybody talks about Meta Andromeda. Nobody talks about the 4-part update system, which is Meta Gem, Meta Lattice, Meta Andromeda, and the sequence learning system from Meta. They are gearing up for a very AI heavy era. They're gearing up knowing that, one, policies are getting stricter and stricter by the day when it comes to regulations for privacy. So they're gearing up for a world in which targeting is already, if you use broad targeting, you're already automating your targeting structure. They're gearing up for a world where there's so much more creative volume because people can use AI to magnify the amount of creatives they do. And so therefore, if I had a crystal ball and I could look into the future, as I've tried to do in the last 3 years on this channel, I'm like, why are you not focusing on creatives? When, if you think about what AI can do, there's one thing that can much more easily than creatives get automated. It's anything regarding campaign structure. Like, I am Meta. I am, say, $1 trillion company. And I am sitting at a board meeting with my C-suite, and I'm like, what is the one thing that our customers struggle the most with? Given that most of our revenue comes from advertising, our customers are advertisers, what do they struggle with? They struggle with setting up their campaigns. The more painful it is to get set up on the platform, the harder it is to get results. The more tech savvy someone has to be able to use your platform, the less money you make as a platform like Meta. You have to make it easy for your users to use. How do you make it easy? You automate what they would have traditionally had to pay someone to do for themselves. You reduce the middleman. Agencies and marketers and media buyers, all they are is a middleman. The product is Meta. The user, the advertiser, should be able to connect directly with the product without an intermediate. And that's what's happening. I'm telling you, every media buyer I've seen who is like confidently still saying, well, yeah, no, media buying is still needed. Media buying nowadays is a luxury. I think that if you have an amazing media buyer, they should be paid really, really well, because nowadays, I would like to say that the only businesses that should focus on media buying are probably multi 8 or 9 figure businesses at the absolute minimum, are the ones who can have the luxury of starting to test all the crazy shit that somebody can do when it comes to media buying. Anybody else, which is 99% of the space, should not worry about media buying. They should focus on creatives, the only thing that will build their brand on a sound foundation. Part of what prompted me to make this video is I mainly see like drop shippers and affiliate marketers and some people in the lead gen space also being super media buying heavy still today. Because the reality of a lot of these businesses is they're here to make a quick buck. They don't have good offers. They don't have great products. They also don't have the bandwidth yet or the cash to front to invest into ad creative production. And so they build a business with like all these tweaks and tricks and tactics to like, it's like a patchwork, almost like a Frankenstein of an ad account that like works. And then they're like somehow able to scale that. But the more they scale, the more fragile the structure is, because if something breaks, instead of having like 2-3 campaigns like they had at the start with like 4 or 5 ad sets each, they're now spending $10,000 a day with like 100 campaigns with like each with 20 to 25 different ad sets, all with different settings. It becomes an incredible mess to even be able to keep like in mind. And then when a media buyer quits, to sub in a new media buyer and get them briefed on all the cost cap, bid caps, and like every setting that you have on this campaign, it just becomes a whole other job to be able to do this. So I'm like, genuinely, does it work? It does. I've seen it get great results. Is this sustainable? I personally don't think so. Does this align with the direction that Meta's been taking, with the way in which they're improving their algorithm and automating a lot of the work that a media buyer would traditionally do? No, it does not align with that. Does this align with the fact that if there's one thing that's getting more and more automated is tech? It also does not align with that. Media buying is all it is like tech settings. It's touching the right buttons. Button pushing is getting automated. And so when I see someone on YouTube saying, oh, well, you need to have like 3, 4, 5 different campaigns and like, one feeds into the other, and like Meta's not smart enough to know like who to show your prospecting versus your retargeting ads to, and like, oh, well, by the way, you should also have like a, testing and scaling is separate because Meta cannot like put your budget. I showed you, like, this can easily be done in one campaign. The less time you spend in the ad account, the more time you have to spend, therefore, on your creatives, the better your brand will do overall. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give everything that Meta wants me to do, which is a simple structure, which they say in every single blog post that they've ever posted. Keep your ad account simple. And they want you to give them more creative volume and creative differentiation when it comes to Meta and your Meta's update. So therefore, if you spend less time on the account, you have a simpler structure, it's easier for you to manage it, and it's easier for you to now allocate a disproportionate amount of your time to creatives, which therefore means that you play into what the algorithm wants, which is you give it more and better creatives, which is the only thing that matters nowadays. And hence why I say I focus on consumer psychology, which is like the mindset that you would take when creating ad creatives for Meta, versus being an econometrician who focuses only on numbers and small tweaks and like more of an analytical mindset who's trying to micro optimize an account. Like, that's getting outdated. And that's why, according to everything shared in this video. Now, having watched that, let me know in the comment below, have I been able to skew your opinion? And if not, I'm totally fine with it. I'm actually happy to have a healthy debate with you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, if you want to work one-on-one with me to have me review your ads, your offers, your funnel, anything regarding your ad-related business, then check out the link below and join my Ad Engine one-on-one inner circle. And that's it. If you want my team and I to do all of this work for you, then also check the link below and book in a call with my team and I at theagency@paidadvertising.com. So I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Do check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.